Tonight, we're going to be exploring urban sketching. And I've done urban sketching workshops before, but I'm inspired to do this workshop because I just received, I bought for myself a little set called, oops, things are flying, called Funto. You see the Funto right there? And so the cool thing is the Funto is a little easy to, yep, see, things are falling. It's a little portable bag that has all your goodies inside it for doing urban sketching. And I think that is so much fun. This is one of it even has, watch this, a little, like the perfect size notebook to fit inside there. And this is a crossbody bag, or you can adjust it. See how you have a little adjustment there if you want to make it shorter, um, for a shoulder bag. But I like that it came with its own um, watercolor pad. And so this is the little artwork that I'm almost done with, but that I started for this workshop. And these are the colors that come with the set. See there where it says the Fun 2 watercolors. So we're going to go through and over all of that, but I'm also going to share with you some other papers, like little notebooks and things that I like. I have a featured artist for the show tonight, and I have some other watercolor fun things that you may or may not have even been aware of, things like the Viviva color sheets, for instance. So we are going to have a great time. Let me start by sharing with you the artist for tonight, one of my inspirations, and it's an artist named Becky Cow. So the details for her Instagram will be linked in the description of the video on YouTube tonight. I'll go in after the workshop and I will add that. So this is Becky Cow, it's Cow Becky, and she is up in Canada. And she is an amazing urban sketcher. She is out, not, I wouldn't say every day, but almost every day. And she is sketching on location at different coffee shops and places around. I think she lives in the Vancouver area, but whatever her area is, that's what she's doing. She's out, she gets herself a coffee and a sandwich, or coffee and a dessert. And then she does her sketching on site. Sometimes she's sketching what she's eating, and other times she's sketching the landscape and the people in front of her. So I just showed you some of the pictures. This is Becky right here. And what I did was I blew up this picture. I took a little bit bigger version of that picture on her social media. And so notice that it's not one page, one subject necessarily. Sometimes she'll do more than one subject on a page. Sometimes it's three or four subjects on one page. So you can take something that's very simple if you're starting out, especially, and you can incorporate and do different sections of your page that way. So I adore this part right here. And you can see she has three persimmons set up in what we would call a still life, set up right in front of her. And she is sketching that. So you can take everyday items. I love when she does the soda pop bottles, because the soda pop she has where she lives is different than the soda pop that we have here in the US. So I love to see when she has the snacks and the soda pop out on her table and she's sketching those. So don't feel like you have to, go out to fancy locations in order to do your urban sketching. You can do your sketching practice right in your own home with some of your common materials that you have. I have right here, these are some of the things that I brought for inspiration for me. So there's a bag of Jelly Belly jelly beans, yummy, yummy. And I brought a grapefruit to the table, and I brought some Asian treats to the table. So these are the things we're going to play with when we get started with the actual drawing over top of the table. Now, I wanted to show you, Becky Cow teaches workshops. That's how one of my dear friends said, hey, why don't we take Becky Cow's virtual workshop together? So we did that last year. And so these are some of the things that we were doing in Becky's workshop. So this is where she went out to a place, ordered herself a beautiful dessert and some coffee. See the pumpkin in here? So it was right around Halloween time. And then there were people sitting here at the table, beautiful scenery outside. And so this was my first class with Becky, following along with her. And you'll notice in this first one, I didn't finish this person, I didn't finish this person, but you know what? You go at your own pace, right? And I'm I would call myself an advanced painter, but not an advanced sketcher. Okay, that's why I wanted to take her course, because I wanted to get better at that quick sketch, right? And that's what urban sketching will teach you, or even sketching in your own home. So here's one of the other ones that we did. And what's nice is that Becky takes photographs and then she will send you the photograph. Her normally, when I was taking the classes last year, she would do 1 month at a time. So I was paying for, I think, 4 weeks at a time, and then she would do a subject and we would follow through on the subject. So this is a beautiful scene with the yellow trees near where she lives. And this was it says suburban area of Vancouver and Supperton. And so that was following along with her multiple classes. Don't worry, I didn't do it in one class. This was multiple classes that we did it over the course of a couple of weeks. And then the last one that I did with her, you can see here, is Christmas themed. So you see the garland up here. So this was last Christmas, was the last class that I took from her. And so I was working through the project with her. Now, I didn't quite finish because there's supposed to be pictures right here. I think one is of a muffin. I forget. See, I didn't even sketch them in. But those are supposed to be posters on the wall. And the other thing I didn't finish was the other part of the garland right here, right? You see that? So she definitely like skips along during her classes. Actually, she offers two versions. She offers the beginner version and then the intermediate to advanced version. So I took the intermediate to advanced version, not the beginner version. And that's why we did something that was a little bit more advanced, right? There, very cool. And she did give us the reference pictures. And in the case of the one at Christmas time, it was more than one picture, it was multiple pictures that we morphed together into one. But she is a wonderful urban sketcher, a wonderful teacher, and I wanted to be sure that you all knew about her. And if you wanted to try it out, either as a beginner or as an intermediate to advanced sketcher, she's definitely somebody that you want to check out. Becky Cow. Okay. So that's my artist of the day. And then I also have for you a book, because y'all know that I have a huge art library. And so this is Urban Watercolor Sketching. And the crazy thing is, this book almost looks brand new. It's not. I've had it for a long time. But what I liked about this book is I like you can see I've got a whole bunch of stuff underlined there in the book so I did read it. It is not new. And so I liked this author. What's his name? Felix Scheinberger is his name. And so I like the very, I'm going to call it wonky kind of work that he likes to do. And if you look, like his pictures of people, right? And very colorful and gestural and funny. Now, here's something a little more serious because he's doing more architectural, right? And then on the other page, it's just fun, right? Because my stress is always drawing people. That's why I took Becky's class, because she includes a lot of people in her urban sketches. And so I wanted to work out those muscles for myself, right? Um, but what I love about Felix's book is that he just makes people look ridiculous and fun and very approachable, so that anybody can do that. Let me see. He does talk about color in here. There are just so many gorgeous and fun illustrations that he puts in his book. This one, he did a collage. So he did some drawing and then he cut it out and got really creative and did a collage and did some more sketching around it. So don't think of urban sketching as just going out and doing architectural stuff. Okay. There's a lot that you can do with the concept of urban sketching. Look at this one. Ah, isn't that fun? Oh, his name again, please. Yes. And on YouTube after the workshop, thank you for your question. Somebody asked, what's the name of the artist? I'll give you that in 1 second. Actually, I'll hold it up here while I'm talking so you can go ahead and take a picture of it. Felix Scheinberger. But on YouTube after the workshop, I go in to the description of the video on my YouTube channel and I put the links to all of the books and the artists and the materials that I talk about. So if you're interested in that, you can always pop in over there and find it. And here he is. He took a trip to, is it Jamaica? Let me see. Let me see. It says Blue Ridge Mountains. No, that's right here in the US, right? So he did a 2-page spread here for that one. Oh, you're quite welcome. Thanks for the question. I appreciate it. More like crazy, crazy, funky fun, right? So I love looking at imagery like this because then to me, it allows me the permission to not have to do it perfectly because I come from my career before semi-retirement. My career was computer systems design and analysis. So everything has to be extremely precise, and this goes with this, and it all has to be perfect, right? And so when I do art, I tend to be I call that tight, right? I tend to be tight. Like I want the lines to be just right. But I use books like this as inspiration to tell me, you know what? It is okay to just have fun and be fanciful and totally out of the box and do things that are wackadoodle and crazy. And so this is the perfect inspiration for something like that. You know, it's a face, but it's just completely out there. And here he uses colors that are not your typical colors in some of his sketches. So you can be tight with your sketches or you can be completely loose and relax. I use it for relaxation. So I'm like, relax. Don't worry. The lines don't have to be straight. They don't have to be perfect. It's just it's called sketching. It's not called, photorealism, right? Right. So Urban Watercolor Sketching, excellent book. Let's see when it came out. Because I probably got it shortly after it came out. And oh, come on, y'all. You gotta tell me that they stuck the contents in there first. Huh. You know how sometimes the books will put that information in the back instead of in the front? Let's see if they put it in the back. Yeah. See, sometimes they put it as the last page instead of in the beginning. Ugh. Um, 2014. Yeah, I probably purchased it somewhere around then. So that's when it came out, 2014, about 10 years ago. But fantastic book. Love it. Highly recommend. Now, if you weren't here earlier, if you just popped in, the inspiration for this workshop is this kit that I just got, which is an urban sketching kit from Funto. Funto. So it's not the least expensive kit out there, but it is a great kit. I'm going to show you why, but then I'm also going to give you a bunch of alternatives. Okay. So maybe you have some of these items already. I love this little bag. I'm like, oh, that is perfect. Perfect. I like, to try to keep everything organized, right? Not have to carry around a big bag. You can even throw this bag into your purse. You see that? But if you wanted to, you could sling it over your shoulder. So it comes with a couple of different things. One that I clipped on already. This is a collapsible water container. So let me show you that. And I'm going to show you the alternative that I usually use all the time. So this is a collapsible water container. It's kind of like what you would have if you were a Girl Scout or a Boy Scout, right? Perfect for camping. And because I have nails, It's not that easy to get open. I'm looking to see if I have a tool here that I can open it with, because you have to press right here and twist, and then you see that where you start to get it open, and then you can pull it apart. Ta-da! And now we got it. So isn't that cool? But you have to pull it up and twist in order to get it to sit up. So isn't that awesome? It's a little portable water container. So you can use it for drinking as well as you can use it for your paint water, but don't use it for drinking and your paint water at the same time, right? How many of us have done that by accident? I have my coffee right here, but notice I have a lid on my coffee, so I cannot make that mistake. So I'm going to put this one away because I'm going to show you the alternative that I usually travel with, and that is the collapsible water container. So this is by Faber-Castell. They're cheap, they're very inexpensive, and it's made of silicone, and you just pop, so it's easy to travel with, right? And then you just pop it like that. You pop it out, and there's your water container, and it has this to hold your brushes. Beep, like that. So you'll see me using this during the course of the workshop, but whenever I travel, I take this with me. Love it. You can see it's like dirty on the inside from years of use. And this is the new one that I just got that's matches my fingernails, the turquoise version, same thing. And so I have water in that one already. I'm going to be using that. So another thing that was in this kit is a notepad. So what's nice about this notepad, first of all, it's nice watercolor paper. It's 110 pounds instead of 140 pounds. Most watercolor paper is 140 pounds, but you'll find that some watercolor paper like this is 110 pounds, but it's great paper, y'all. It works. It's great paper. And this is the perfect size to fit into a purse, or it goes right into the Funto bag, just like this, bink, right but down in there. Now, as an alternative for that, I like this one. This is the Winsor and Newton Professional. See where it says Professional Watercolor Notepad. This is a 5x7. So I love this because the paper is just mwah. But of course it's more expensive, right? And I use it a lot for swatching because it is a beautiful 140-pound professional paper. So you can see I just have sketches. And what I like about this is, notice it's the or it's the ring binder. So I can actually turn the page like this, bloop, and then I have a flat page to work on. Okay, whereas the little book from Funto is like this, and it's nice that it's hardbound, but then you have this right here, where it likes to go like that. Most of these watercolor type travel books, they make them so that they'll sit relatively flat for you, which is great. Um, but I really like that Winsor and Newton book. This one, love that because the paper is just divine. Divine. Any of the Winsor and Newton stuff, I just love it. Um, and then one other book that if you have a little bit, if you decide that you want to use a bigger bag than the Fun 2, is this one. I've seen, I've had Pentelic paper, different notebooks from Pentelic. Let me see if I can point to it. Pentelic right there. I've had their different papers over the years, like over the last 15 years, and I really enjoy it. So this is a 140-pound watercolor paper, and it is called their Aqua Journal. So aqua meaning that you can put water on it. So you can see the size difference there, right? This one's definitely bigger. So if you're wanting to do bigger work and carry a bigger notebook, this has similar features, like see how this holds it closed right here. And then it's a big book like that. And the cool thing I think about this one is that it has this at the top, so you can put your pencil in it or your pen. Isn't that cool? So if all you're going to do is go out and sketch, maybe you're not doing watercolor at that time. This is a great one because you've got your pen or pencil right there. ready to go. And then it seals up like that when you put it back in your bag. Very cool. So that's a little bit larger version of this one that you can lay out and lay flat like that. So that is the paper and the bag. Now, also one of the accessories that they have in here. Oops. What's cool is inside here there are two little sections right here that you can slip things into. So something that they give you with the set is a water brush. This is a really nice water brush. It works really well. Plus, when you take the top off, it goes like this, Eek, like that. So I like that when a water brush, the lid will do that. It's not that big a deal because if you've got the bag right here, look, if I don't like that, what do? I just take that mesh front and I go, "Broop," and there's the lid right there so that I know where it is for when I get finished, right? But they put a really nice brush, water brush in here. So this is great for traveling with. And then the other thing that they included with the set, the Fun2 set, was a spray bottle. Thank you, Fun2. Isn't that cute? That's like a perfect little spray bottle. And you use that to wet your paints with, your watercolor paints. You just go spray it before you start painting with them. So very handy to have that. And then because there are two sections in here, I also put a pen in there. And this is a Winsor and Newton fine liner. I love these because not only do they have different nib sizes, but these are some of my favorite colors. See the little band right here? This is a brown one, and that's a blue one. And most of the time, I'm using the Sakura. Let me show you the Sakura right here. So this is the Sakura Micron pen. That's the one I usually use for sketching. But I really like, I got these at Blick not too long ago, Blick Art Supply, and I love the brown and the blue. These are really, really nice. So these are the Winsor Newton, and this is the Sakura Micron. So you'll see a lot of urban sketchers using the Micron, or they may use a fountain pen as well. So that's fun. I've shown the fountain pen before on other workshops. Then some alternatives is you may already have this if you do crafts, and this is called a mini mister by Ranger. And let's see, yeah, it just shows Ranger right there. And these come in packs of 2 or 3, and they also hold a little bit of water. And they're like, they make a beautiful mist. So yeah, these are great. And then an alternative to have extra water on hand. Um, all right, so this is from my kitchen. This bottle right here is one of those, it's an energy shot or an immunity shot or something like that, right? Spirulina, lemon juice, whatever it is. So it's one of those little bottles. And then do you recognize what's on top there? This is from my dish soap, but it happened to fit perfectly on that bottle. And what I like about it for carrying water, besides the fact that it's small, is that when you go to dispense it, you see how there's no water coming out? But if I squeeze it a little bit, I can get it out a couple of drops at a time. So there's a just from the house, from the kitchen idea as a great way to carry extra water. Because what I find is as I'm using the water brush, I'm heavy handed with the water. And so I tend to use up the water very quickly in the water brush. And it's easy to just go blip, 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 and fill it up from this little teeny tiny water dispenser. Or the other alternative that I use, that I like to have with me to fill up the water brush is a little dropper. So this is a bigger one. I have a little bit smaller one right here. Nope, those are the same. I also have some smaller ones. Where is it? There's a smaller one right there. So it's handy to have when you're urban sketching. It's handy to have a little one of these droppers with you because that way you can go into your water. I'll show you here. So I have my portable water and I just get some water up in there. And it's so much easier to change the water in your water brush if you have a dropper. So here's the dropper can go in there and then you're not You're not making a mess, right? Woohoo! So that way if you're doing it in a cafe, they're happy and you're happy because you're not making a big old mess out of it, right? Okay, so that's a really efficient way to fill up your brush. Now let's talk about the paints. So for urban sketching, in the kit, so in this Funto kit, it comes with a little set of 15 colors. You can get a set of 8 colors or 15 colors. It's not a lot more. Get the 18 colors. That's what I like the best. They're little magnets on the side. Boop. It doesn't really hold it together. Watch. It does that, but if I do that, see how it falls apart. So they're not strong magnets, but they're enough to bring it together so that, hello. Alrighty then. Um, you see the little indent right here? There's a little indent. So what came with the set, so this is with the Fun 2 set. It's a little clip. So you are going, see these do not hold it together very well. But in that little indent, that's made for you to put your clip. So that clip will hold those two pieces together. So this is the paints, and this is where you can color mix, right, with the paints. So when you're traveling with it, you use the little magnets right there and you put it together like that, and then it pops right into your bag, right? It's really convenient, nice and small and protected. But then when you open it, you're going to want to clip it together, bink, like that to hold them together. What you're also going to do, the reason it's designed with the little clip is so that you can clip it to your notebook, right? So this is the Fun 2 notebook. So when I was painting this right here, this little scene from France um, that I took the book and I just clipped this right onto the book like that. So I've got it clips on, and then you paint down here, right? So you can do that. And that is how that is designed. And you can either do it on the end like that, which I like to do, or the other thing you can do is, depending on which side you're painting on, you can clip it to the other side. So let's clip it to this side. So see that? Dee, now it's clipped on. And that just helps, when you're outside, if you want to do this outside for the urban sketching and the book is moving all around, right? Or you don't really want to put this in your lap because it's going to get everywhere and it's going to fall and then you're going to have dirt in your paint, right? So this is perfect. Perfect to have it like this. But let me show you a couple of other paint alternatives that are great for urban sketching. And then we're going to go over the table and we're going to do a sketch. So this is the Viviva. I showed you a little bit earlier. These are Viviva color sheets, they're called. You see how tiny? It's like a little booklet, right? And then it'll just go bloop, right into your purse or right into a bag, your pocket. It's made to be like pocket size. And what you do is they're called color sheets. This is paint right here. It's baked on to a piece of paper, and all you do is wet it with water, and then look, you've got this beautiful watercolor paint. Super strong, super strong. I love these. I've had them for a long time. And they give you a little color code here. So if I want to go to the blues, I can open up this page and see, that doesn't look like blue, but when you activate it with water, there it is right there. There's the blue. And then somewhere in here, there's a mixing area. Yeah. So in the back of the book, this folds out like that. And that's a little mixing area that you can mix your colors if you want to. Right there. Oops, sorry about that. I added upside down. Right there. There's a mixing area right there. So that as you're going through the paints here and you need to mix colors together, you can mix them on this little area that has a slick surface to it. Isn't that cool? And they make these I'm just wondering, put in the chat if you've ever seen these before, the Viviva color sheets. They are cool. And they've come out with different versions. So this is their regular 16 color version. This is their metallics version right here. The other one that I have is their spring set right here, bright, nice, bright colors. And then there's another one for their fall set that I haven't gotten yet. So these are super convenient to take with you. And then they came up with, they're made in India. It's like a family cottage business. Hey, Salmon's girl, welcome in, welcome in. Thanks for joining. We're talking about the paints that we're going to be working with for the project tonight. And so this is also Viviva, but what I thought was really cool with this is it is in cork. So they're very much about sustainability and all that. So it comes in this little pouch, and you pull it out, and it's like this. Yee! And they have a cute little cover. And this is cork, you see? So renewable, right? And then you've got a whole bunch of paint there. These are the metallics. And then over here, what do you have? A little mixing area right there. So it's a similar concept to this, except that it's slightly bigger, and they've got it in cork. I thought that was so cool. So they came out with these, I think, within the last year. And it comes with this little set, comes with a chart. So there's the little chart that tells you what the colors are. And I was like, yeah, but they're metallic. So I made myself a little black chart as well. So if you're ever dealing with metallic paints, make yourself a little black chart, because that helps to see what it's going to look like on the black paper. I love the metallic on the black paper. So to store it, I just put it back inside its little sleeve here. But isn't that cute? Like super compact, super cute, right? So that's also easy to, their big thing is making it super easy to transport. And yeah, these are awesome. Awesome. So they're a good alternative for urban sketching. And if you wanted to throw one of these, let's say that I wanted to throw the metallic one into my Funto set, I could just either put it inside, because see, it'll fit inside easily, or I can just, of course, slip it right into the front right there. Awesome. So definitely I suggest these as a possibility to either go with your Fun2 set or to use on their own. I think they're fantastic. They are just great. The colors in these, wow, you're going to be shocked. They are just so punchy. They're fantastic. Now, a very good friend of mine, Tatiana, whom I'm going to go see for Thanksgiving, a very dear art friend of mine. It's so funny. We'll buy each other art supplies, right? Because we know how much we love them. Um, and so she bought for me for my birthday this, it's called an Aqua Mini. It says right here, Aqua Mini. And that is Sennelier, which is a French paint company. Their paints are beautiful. And I've been telling my friend that I didn't have any of the Sennelier watercolors. And so for my birthday, she bought me this mini set that has 8 colors in it. And wow, mwah, they are, très, how do you say it? Magnifique, whatever. I'm not that great at French, but so you see how tiny they are in a little Altoids type tin, and 8 beautiful colors that mix together great. And they also activate quickly, meaning if you spray it with water, the paint comes up really quickly. The crazy thing is, you see this right here, this teeny tiny little brush that they put in there. It's really only good for details. I tried using it, and it doesn't hold enough water and paint in order to be able to like do a whole urban sketch, but it works for the little details that you might want to put into your urban sketch. Like maybe you want to go over the lines with paint, watercolor paint, then I would use that brush. Otherwise, you need to bring another brush with you, another water brush or something like that. Okay. Now, Also, y'all have seen me use this one many, 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 many times. This is, it says, making art for joy's sake. That is the Christy Rice. Hey, watercolor, etc. Welcome in, welcome in. This is the Christy Rice watercolor palette. And so it's considered a travel palette. All right. It comes with this little loop on the bottom so that you can put your finger through it like that and hold it while you paint. So let's open it up like this. Boop. There you go. So there it is. Now, when she gives it to you, there are 12 colors right here on the sides, and the middle is empty. So if you have a mini water brush, you can get mini size water brushes. You can put a mini water brush right in the center there. But as you can see, I wanted to make the choice of I bought empty half pans and I put a whole bunch of my own paints in there. So I stretched her 12 and made it significantly larger. Plus, I added more colors over here. So that's the cool thing about a travel palette like this is you can expand it and have tons of colors. Ah, I have so many colors, y'all. I probably have 600 tubes of watercolor, I think. I'm a nut. I know, I'm a nut. That's how I can show you all these cool things, right? Now, when you're on site, you may decide that this is not enough room for you to do your color mixing. Okay. It may not be enough. I found it was plenty for what I wanted to do with this little set. I was very happy. I was able to get by with this little color mixing area. Yeah, you're all nuts for art. I know. We are all nuts for art, aren't we? I'm like, no, no, I have to try the Indian yellow from this brand, this brand, this brand, and this brand to see which one I like the best. It's crazy, crazy. Oh, yes, yes. Um, so if you want more mixing area, oh, your Christmas list is all paints, Flower Gazer said. Yep. Oh, I understand. I understand. um, so if you want more room than that, if you go to a restaurant, if I'm outside, I'm like, okay, I'm just making do with this. But if you're going someplace to sit and eat, you may find it helpful to have a little dish or a little tray. This is one of those little ceramic, this is the mini version because you can get the little bit larger ones for your desk, or you can also get it in plastic if you prefer to carry plastic because the plastic is a little bit lighter, right? But this is my favorite. I think the brand on this one is Jack Richardson, which is a paint company. Um, and they are just fabulous because then you can mix up your different colors here and have plenty, especially if you're painting a little bit, in a little bit bigger book like that instead of in a tiny little book like that. So the Funto book is nice or Funto is nice and small. And so it was easy to just use that little mixing area. Let's see. Yes. Salmon's Girl was saying to Flower Gazer, me too, meaning, yeah, all the stuff on your list is like crafty stuff or paints or something like that, right? That's why I gifted this to myself. This little fun two set. I was like, I want to see what's in there. Let's see. I am so happy, y'all, that I got that one. There'll be a link to it in the description of the video on YouTube, but isn't that just so stinking cute? It is so cute. I love it. All right, so let me see. Besides still life, which is like, here's an orange that I brought from my kitchen. I also, I use these little photo organization sets like this. So you buy them in sets of 5 or 6, something like that, or you can get a whole case that has them in there. I haven't quite done that yet. Let's see. I have so many art supplies that I don't even know what I have. That's funny. 19 or 1799 house. You know what's crazy is I know what I have. I just don't know where it is. Like I was searching for I knew that I had these, but I didn't know where they were for about 2 weeks. I've been thinking about, sharing them And so I was like, where the heck are they? Where the heck are they? Just letting my brain marinate, like, where are they in my studio, right? And my house? What bag did I end up putting them in? Well, as you can see, I found them this morning. I found them this morning. I just put it in my mind at breakfast time, you know, when you're like half awake, half asleep. So I this morning I said, where the heck are they? Help me find them, right? Talking to my spirit guides, talking to my angels. And instantly the answer was, well, they're in that watercolor bag that you carried with you before. And I was like, "Oh, I didn't even think to look in there. Thank you." And I ran right away, dropped my breakfast, ran right away, looked in the bag, and ta-da, there they were. So anyway, sometimes you just have to relax and ask for help from your angels or the universe, right? And they will come through just like that. Instant. I mean, that it was in my head instantly. This is where they are. Go check it. Okay. Oh my goodness. But anyway, these little sets, you see, I actually am organizing my photographs. So I take a lot of photographs and I print them on regular printer paper, but I've also begun taking some of my collection of photographs for inspiration, and I'm printing them on 4x6, and then I'm putting them inside these little cases. So I have flowers and I have architecture, and this one happens to be my trip to France. So I've traveled to France many times in Europe, and so this is a whole collection of really cool photographs that I've taken while I was in France. And that's actually the picture that's here is when I was staying at a little hotel up in the mountains in France, and looking out the window, there's actually a plant on this little table, but I thought it was so cute. There are grapes growing out here. And the nice thing about the Funto is that this 4x6 photo fits right into the bag. So you can carry your reference photo with you. See, there you go. Sweet. Yeah. See there? There's the picture that I took while I was staying at that little chateau place in France. And so I think this is just a great way to organize your photographs. And I bought 6 because I said, let's see if I'm actually going to do this or not. And it's working. So I thought I'd share that with you. And that the individual photos fit inside this little case. So that's even a bonus, right? Woohoo. So what I want to do now then is go over top of the table. I'm just going to set the fun two aside. Oh, yes. We'll start out with this, okay? So of course, when I got this new set of paints, I was like, okay, I'm gonna have to do a swatch sheet with it, because you need to see. And sometimes some paint companies will provide a little sheet with swatches, but I don't trust them. I'm like, no, no, no. Even the printed swatches, nope. I have to swatch them myself. So what I did was I took the first page of the book. Can you see how it's cut out right there? So I took the first page of the book and I created a little grid that matches the grid that matches these paints, right? You can see that. So, because you can't quite tell when you get into the greens, the dark colors over here, the greens and the blues, you really don't know what they're going to look like once you put the water in it. And so that's why I made this little set that matches what's right there. So I know exactly what it is. And then I took a little tiny pen and I wrote down all the colors here. I looked on the Fun2 website, the Funto. I looked on their website for the product with the 15 colors, and then so that I could see um, what the color names were. And then I wrote them down on there. So that way I have a swatch sheet. I cut it out so there's nothing on the back. See? I just took the first sheet, made my little color swatches, cut it out, and now I'm ready to go. And they have a nice little area here that says if lost, return to. I was like, oh, that's cute. And then this one, I did up and down like this so that it would be, I like doing this where I clip this onto here like that, uh, going this way. I don't know, there's just something about it. I like doing it in this direction like this rather than doing it, I like this more than doing it sideways. I don't know why. That's just me. You have to play with it and see what is more comfortable for you, right? Which way to do it. Um, but when I was doing this, I had it here, and then I put this up here. The reason I cut it out is so that I can have it in front of me and I can see what the colors are, especially if I'm going to be doing color mixing, right? You want to be able to see what the colors are. So you don't have to use these together like this. You see how I'm separating them? I could have my color mixing here and my colors clipped onto here. So even though there's only the half there, it'll still clip on. See that? If that's all you want and you want to put this somewhere else. So feel free to do that. Oh, I was looking to see if anybody made any comments as to what you're thinking I should sketch for the urban sketching. And I am going to use normally I love the Sakura. Love, love, love them. In like this is a 03 size for the nib, the tip, or the 05. I usually use the 03, the 05, and the 08. That would be the size, okay, of the tip. Um, but right now I am so, if you're holding everything together, are you afraid the mixing area will drip on your book? Yes. Yes. Watercolor, etc. was saying. So if this is up here, am I afraid that I might, drip onto my artwork? Yes, I am. So if I'm sitting at a table somewhere, okay, I'm in a cafe, I'm enjoying a cappuccino, right? Doing something like that, then easy peasy, I can separate this, right? I can separate my mixing area. And I also try to keep this swatch sheet so that it doesn't get dripped on either. So I can kind of keep the colors. So that's why, since I'm right-handed, it's better for me if this is on the right side above where I'm working, right? And then I'm less likely to drip it. Um, if you're left-handed, do it this way like that, because then you'll be over here and going directly to your artwork, right? And that way I'm not going across this right here. So just, something to bear in mind. Now, if I'm outside and I'm just sitting on a park bench or something like that, and I want to just do a quickie sketch, then that's why I like this going this way, because I'm giving myself a lot of room. Now, if I had an artwork right here, I would probably want to do it this way because I would want to cover that. And let me think. I could also do this and just clip it to the other side, right? Like this. So there are different configurations that you can make of that. So if I'm painting here, I may want to do it like this. All right. So just you have to get one and try it, right? I love these little clippies, and this is just the one that came in the bag. You can get any clip to go with it. It's just sort of fancy, right? Oh, you're quite welcome, watercolor, etc. I appreciate the question. So most of the time when I do my little journals like this, I paint on both sides. So I'll paint this side. This was a little morning glory and a butterfly. That was just my test. France photo. Okay, I got you. I got you. And then I flip it, and usually I will paint here and then I'll paint here. So I like to paint on both sides of the paper. And I know a lot of people like to do wide scenes like this. They're not my jam. I'm not a biggie for the panorama. That's what you would do if you were doing it this way. But that's because I don't go sit outside in the park. My friend that gave me this beautiful little Sennelier set right here, she goes out to the park and she has a little tiny like fold up table, you know, where you go whack and there's a little table for you. And so she may want to paint the whole scene that's in front of her, right? With people and trees and dogs and bicycles, whatever. And so this kind of wide panoramic can work really well. And then I showed you earlier that with Becky Cow, the artist that I recommend, that you see these are 9 by 12 pieces of paper. But if she's actually, when she's working in her notebook, right? She might, let me show you this one. Which one? This first one. Yes. So with this one, she wanted to get the scenery, but then she also, remember I said she'll change up little sections of her work. She might take it and say, okay, this corner, I'm going to put this picture, and then I'm going to do this, and then I'm going to put something else maybe over here in the corner. So, oh, thank you, watercolor, etc. Yeah, these were earlier. I introduced the artist Becky Cao, CAO. I will have a link to her Instagram in the description of the video later tonight on YouTube. And so I took several urban sketching classes with her, which were through Zoom. She's a great teacher, fabulous teacher. And so these were some of the pieces that I did with her. She'll send you reference photos, like see the reference photo there of the dessert. Here's a reference photo of a scene near where she lives with all the beautiful yellow fall trees. This was from last fall. And then she walks you through doing an urban sketch of the scene. And so we happen to be doing it. Yeah, right. I know her. It's just so gorgeous, the scenery near her. But it's also the more you go out and you're looking for interesting subjects, the more you're going to find. And you begin to train your eye. Oh, okay. I like the colors there. I like the architecture there. I like, you know, whatever, the different kinds of that boat that's on the waterfront that I never noticed before, but now that I'm looking, I'm finding it, right? And so this is in Sapperton, New West, Vancouver. And then this was the holiday. There's a barista here at a cappuccino machine and some garland. So she showed us how to do that. I didn't quite finish this one. I mean, you know, she moves along. I took the intermediate class and she was moving along at a pretty good clip. And so I didn't quite finish the garland over here, and I didn't put the pictures. I think one was a muffin, and I forget what the other one was. The little posters over here. Right? But yeah, I highly recommend Becky if you want to take a class or more. She does both beginner classes, and then I think she does beginner classes on Saturday, and then she does the intermediate advanced on like a Wednesday or Thursday, something like that. And I forget whether I think it's 2 hour classes, something like that. And boy, we have a great time. Now, that was last year. My my friend that gifted me this last year for my birthday gifted me that both of us took one of Becky's classes together. And then I continued and took several more of Becky's classes. So she usually starts at the beginning of a month and does 4 weeks of whichever it is, either the beginner or the advanced. And I highly recommend her classes. Oh, all right. So we're going to do something for a scene from France. And because it's this book is tiny, which is perfect for taking out for quickie little urban sketches, I am going to close this one up and we're going to use the bigger one so that you're able to see it, right? I want you to be able to see. See. Okay, so I'm putting that one aside. And we're going to use, ooh. Okay, do we use, I think instead of the aqua, this is that Pentalic Aqua Journal, which is absolutely beautiful. I highly recommend this one. Beautiful 140-pound cotton paper, right? Isn't that pretty how they do the rounded sides? I think it's so pretty. Um, Beautiful for journaling, but I think for recording purposes for y'all, to make it easier for you to see what we're doing, I think I'm going to use the Winsor& and Newton Professional Watercolor. It's 140 pound, 100% cotton. They've actually had this online for a really good price recently. So considering that it's 100% cotton paper, 15 sheets, but I like it because it's spiral bound. And so it lets us close like that. So I think that'll just be easier for what we're doing right now because I don't have, I won't have it like open all the way up. I can just focus on one page. Love these books. I already, because the prices were low, I already grabbed another one, even though I have, maybe 10 sheets left. I still grabbed another one because I'm like, yeah, those are great before the price pops back up, right? So let's pick an image. Ooh, so that was that cute little image there. I'll show you some of the images. This is a restaurant. This is the restaurant of the little place where we were staying. So there's a table here with some cups, like teacups on it. This is a grapevine. There's a little lamp right there, and there is part of a what is that? An umbrella right there. So that would be a fun one. I wouldn't put this chair in the front right here. I would sort of cut it right there and just focus right there. I think that's really nice. That's a possibility. I've done this one before already. It's a little more complicated, so I'm not going to do that right now. It would take a little too much time. Um, Something like this is fun when you're doing watercolor because the pop of color with the flower boxes right there. So we'll put the flower box right there. I'll put these up here. Um, oh my gosh, this was such a cool picture that I didn't realize until after I took it and I printed it. But it is one of the windows with a beautiful flower box, right? This is in a little town called Tourette-sur-Loue up in the mountains in France above Nice. But notice in the windows, you can see the mountain in front of it that's over on this side. Can you see that? I didn't even realize that until I printed the picture and went, oh, that is actually pretty cool. I'm seeing the reflection. This is an interesting one to sketch because, yeah, that's gorgeous, right? Because you've got the angles here, the angle here, the roundness here. That's a fun one too. So, see, I have so many beautiful pictures I took in that little place. Yikes. Let me see. Let me see. This one is that, it's really weird. It's not really weird. It's just a lot of times in these medieval towns, they'll leave a door open to get the flow of air through the place, right? And so as I was walking through, I spent one whole day. My husband took the kids and they went go-kart riding, and I got to spend all day in this medieval town just wandering around taking pictures. And so you see how the door is open right there? I don't know if you can see it in the picture, but the door is open. So like half of the door is there and half the door is open. And I was like, the window or the three buildings? Okay. All right. Got you. But I just thought it was really interesting that as I'm walking around town, that all these people have their doors open, But it's a little sleepy town up in the middle of, nowhere up in the mountains because it was near where my brother-in-law lived. So, okay, we're talking about this one or the one the window or the curvy buildings. Oh, so hard. You know what? Why don't we warm up with this one, and then depending on the timing, we might go and do like a quickie sketch of this one, okay? So let's start with the buildings because, sometimes you just need a warm up. All right, let me put those away real quick like. Yee. But isn't that great? Such an easy way to keep them organized. Even though if you looked at the rest of my studio, you'd go, really, Tristina, organized? I'm like, I can't help it. Everything's everywhere, but the little bit that I have control over, I like to keep organized, right? Oh my gosh. I think that's all creatives everywhere. Right? Y'all are laughing in the chat. I know. Let me just grab a sip of coffee here. Mm. Oh, that feels so good. Mm. Okay. I love the buildings are so interesting, right? In a little town like that. So the first thing we're going to do, of course, is sketch. Then we'll get to the watercolors. So I'm going to set the watercolors aside for right now. Here we go. Let's hold these together like that. Come on. Ding, clip together. Good, good, good. And so let's focus on the sketch. Just the sketch. What am I going to use? Oh, oh, thank you, watercolor, etc. So these were those Winsor Newton markers that I told you about that I am like currently in love with. And so they have the blue and they have the brown. So I think I'm going to use the brown because of the buildings, right? In order to do the sketchies. And let me just show you to begin with the different line weights. Okay, if you're not familiar with that. Because we've got a point 0.1, point 0.3, and point 0.5. What does that mean? That's point 0.1 of a millimeter, point 0.2 of a millimeter, and point 0.3 of a millimeter. Okay, so that's how that's if it's point 0.1, that's the smaller, teeny tiny tip. So before I get started, let me just show you here at the bottom of the page. This is 0.1. So I'm just writing them there, and then I'm going to show you 0.3. So here's a line here, 0.3. And then it just depends on either what part of the painting that you're working on or the scene or what part of the, whether you're cross hatching, whatever you're doing in it, which size you want to use. Okay, so let me show you. There's the point 0.1 line, the point 0.3 line, and the point 0.5 line. So the point 0.5 is quite bold. In the micron pens, the black ones, these are beautiful as well. They're also permanent markers. That's the nice thing about these fine liners is that they are permanent. And so this is the micron pen, permanent. The cool thing about the micron is they also have a 0.8. So let me show you that one. That's a little bit bolder, right? So it just depends on sort of what sort of line weight you want. Which size of pen you're going to use. So the one that I use the most, and it's interesting because when you look online, you will find entire boxes, like you can get a box of 12 of the size 0.5 of a lot of fine liners because that's the one that most people are using is the 0.5. Okay, so I'm going to start out with the 0.5, sketchy. Then we're going to put in some cross hatching with the 0.1 or the 0.3. And I find on the textured paper, I usually like to go slightly heavier. So if you're used to using a 0.3, go to the 0.5 because the texture kind of gets in the way, you know? It's okay for me. I love it, but some people find that that texture is like, ooh, it's affecting your line weight. So let's use the 0.5 and I'm just going to sketch the scene that we have here, okay? So let's just I'm going to start with the clock tower because I'm right-handed, so I usually work left to right, okay? Of course, we've got the top of the building over here, but it's fun that it's on an angle a little bit. And then it comes down like this, ooh, like all the way down, but it's at an angle, right? So we've got that part of it. Then it comes down here. So this is just power of observation, right? You learn to, if you're doing it whether you're doing it from a photograph or you're actually on site, it's all going to be about the power of observation. The cool thing is right here, there is a little um, clock. But because I'm looking up at the clock is sort of it's an elliptical size shape instead of being a perfect circle. Okay, so those are the kind of details you want to look at. And the interesting thing is, I'll do it with the smaller one because this is a little bolder. At the top here, let me show you. Do you see there's a bell? So it's like the top of either a church or a municipal building or something where they have a bell. So there's part of a bell right here. Let's just draw the part of the bell, and then it comes up like this and around and over like this. It's a little bit big, but you know what? It does not matter, right? They're little thingies right here holding it in place. And then there's something that comes off of there and then comes down here and goes around like that. Cool. And then there's another one that comes off of here and comes around. Fun, right? Something fun. And then, um, so just the nice thing about a picture like this is there aren't too many details, so you can just sort of, relax and have fun with it. Down here somewhere, let's do the door. There is an interesting door right here that goes up and around like this. And around the door, there are these little, what are they called? The keystones, right? Isn't that what they're called? Keystones. So I'm just going to put in the keystones because I think they look cool. There we go, keystones. And of course, the other end isn't showing, but it doesn't matter. I'm adding it anyway because of where I positioned everything here. Okay, there we go. So we've got the door going that way. We have a little window sort of above the door here. Gee, it's kind of going at almost at the same angle there. And it comes down. It's kind of a skinny window, right? And it has a thing right here. And then it has two sections right here. There we go. So we've got the window in there. And there's also like little keystones along the window. You can either do these details using your pen, or you know what? You can just leave the details for brush strokes. Either way, it's whatever you're more comfortable with. I kind of like drawing some of the details in with a pen. I think it's fun. But, Oh, hey, go goat. Welcome in, welcome in. And then of course there's like a little ledge along here. So just putting in a few of those details. And then, oh, that was fun already. Something's happening. So let's go ahead. We're about this far down and I'm actually going to raise it up a little bit. The interesting thing about the round building, this is what always gets me from drawing, is the perspective. It's like, how do I get the perspective? Because if you look at that photograph, this building right here is obviously round to your eye, right? But when I go to draw them, I have the hardest time depicting that something is round, other than just adding little curved lines, right, to indicate that it's round. But other than that, I'm like, it kind of drives me crazy. But let's go here, and I'm gonna say that I'm just giving myself an estimate of approximately where it's coming around here. Because we have a little roof here, a little roof line, don't we? We've got a little roof line, and then again, it kind of comes down like this, and it's sort of at an angle, but not as much of an angle. Okay. And then the cool thing here is that it has like a tile roof. So you can sort of give the impression of it going around there. Okay. And then over here, let's see, there's a door down here, right? And the door starts just a little bit below this. This door is interesting because it has a different shape to it. So let's do that. Do not worry when you're urban sketching if you work over top of the your lines that you've already done. It's okay if it looks all sketchy because what are we doing? We are sketching, so that's all fine. Do not worry about that if there are lots of little sketch marks because that's all part of just you being a sketch artist. So it's okay if there are like lots of little sketchy lines. Plus, the more that you do the urban sketching, the more comfortable you get with your materials and the subjects, right? Because you're going to do the same subject like over and over and over again most of the time. Okay, so there's where the door is. And then we've got one window right here. So the window kind of goes like this and comes down. There, that's a good window. Same thing. We've got the center and these two. And then there's another little window up here. Cool. Okay, good. I don't feel so bad now. Ah, I kind of got it. All right, so we got the two windows there. And then now because this is my photograph, I will include this in the article that I write on my website. So every time I do a workshop, then I write an article that goes with the workshop. And if I have reference photos that I've taken or I have the authority to share, then I will share the picture if you want to go back and print it and try it yourself. Okay. And then we've got, yeah, so this comes like that. And then we've got, the cool thing is there's another building right here. So let's get the like this, and then it comes, it's kind of shallow, isn't it? It's kind of shallow, the roof line. And then it has like that right there. Nice. And they're actually little, it does that. I love these old medieval towns where they have the barrel tile, right? The terracotta tile on them. I think it's so cool. So I'm going to just draw a line right here underneath it. There we go. All right. And then the bizarre thing is, if you look at this picture, this building is going at an angle like this, and this building is going at an angle like this. How the heck is that even like possible? How? How? I don't know. Okay. So here is this building, and it comes out this way. Okay, then. I'll just take it out that way since it comes out that way. And it looks like there's a window kind of in the center of it right here. There we go. And then this one's cute because it has shutters. So I'll wait until I'm using the smaller pen to put the shutters in. So some of the details I like to put in with the smaller pens after the fact. And then there's just another one here, like on the next floor down, I guess, is sort of the way it works. There we go. There's actually another one down here, but I don't know. Am I going to bother with that? Not right at the moment. Okay, so cool. We've got those buildings sketched in there. And then let's switch to a different pen. So this was the point 0.5 that I was working with. A lot of times I like to do my sketching with the point 0.5, I find. Let's look at the, so you can actually see it. Well, let's use the 0.1. So we've got, okay, something I think is super cool about this is, do you see the shadow of the roof line is over here? Isn't that fun? Oh, okay. We'll see you in a few minutes, watercolor, etc. So this shadow from the roof line has this cool rippled edge because of the roof here. So I'm going to use my 0.1 pen because that's a really tiny um, edge to that. And then I'm going to, looking at the picture, I'm just going to sort of come in here. Ooh, it starts a little bit higher, doesn't it? And I'm going to just sort of put that in there. And it actually, oy, it actually goes right out. across this window here. And it just gets, as it goes, it gets a little bit, it's a little more curvy up here and a little less curvy down here. But that is cool. I like that. So that's an interesting feature of that picture, is that we've got this big shadow down here. And the nice thing about this pen, now I can do the shadow with watercolor later, or I can put in a little bit of hatching using the 01. So do you ever paint first, then ink in the details? The 1799 house asked. Absolutely. Sometimes I just paint away, have fun, especially when you're talking about flowers, especially. When I do flowers, I just look at color first. It's like when you squint and you're just looking at sort of the fuzziness of it, and I see the colors, then I will just go dab, 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 dab with the colors, and then come in with the markers and then add in the petals and maybe the centers and some of the leaves. So yeah, excellent question. And the answer is absolutely. Yes, I do. So here we're using that point one. And so I'm going to create some hash marks just to give um, the feel of the fact that this is uh, in shadow. And I'm going very lightly. And because this is textured paper, I'm getting an interesting, what's called a broken line as I'm doing this, which is perfect. It's just what I need, actually. So let me sort of vary the angle of that a little bit there. So that's in one direction, but that's hash marks. So oftentimes hash marks, you'll go in one direction and then in another direction. So I'm going to do that right now, is I'm going to just pull in a little bit of hashing in the other direction as well, just to give it that feel of shadow. And, of course, I'm going to also bring the color in to give it that shadow feel, but I thought I'd show you what I would do if I were doing like hash marks here with the 01. The 01 is awesome. There we go. So you can see the shadow, and then once the color is on there, it'll be even more prominent. Now, of course, most of this building back here is in shadow, but I'll do that with paint. Although it looks like there's kind of a line right here. So let's sort of bring this line through here. It sort of looks like that is a little bit more shadowy. So let me just, there's actually a teeny tiny little window up at the top here, but I am not gonna put that one in. We're allowed because we're artists and we get to do whatever we want with to interpret our pictures here. Now I'm gonna pull the lines in sort of a curve because I want to give the feel that the building is round, right? There we go. So I put a little bit of the line work in there to make it look like it's round. So there's a nice shadow right there. And there's actually a shadow from another building over here. That falls partway over that and partway over the door. So I'm just going to bring this other shadow in here just to be shadow accurate, right? So let's just make little lines here for the shadow. Down, 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 and then I'm going to go across. Nice. So that just reminds me that there's a shadow right there. There we go. You can do it. But that's where I find it helps to have the various. Oh, you're back! Yay! It helps to have the different sizes of the nibs, because for me, because you can see where it's kind of helpful to have the hint of the shadow there from the pen. Now there's also, because this clock is three-dimensional, you see how there's a big old shadow down below it right here. So let's go ahead and put the clock shadow in there right here. Sort of comes around, comes down like this. There we go. So we've got an interesting shadow there. Nice. And then I'm also, now I'm not going to use the 01. I'm going to go to the 03, and I'm going to put the hands of the clock in. Woohoo! So it actually says like 1, 2, 8, is that 12? Actually, it's like, it's in Roman numerals, but I don't care. I don't care. I'm just going to sort of grab a spot here and then put one this way, and the other one is like this way, just to give you a hint of what time it is there. Okay. Looks like it's 11:40 in the morning, something like that. But at least that just sort of finishes that part up a little bit, because you're going to want to, if you have a clock, you're going to want to know what time it is, right? Okay, now let's go in with some watercolor. Yee, this is so fun. So let me get a paper towel, because you definitely need a paper towel or napkins, right? Even if you're on site, you're going to need paper towel or napkins. So let's put that here, and let's play with, oh, look at the color of that sky. The sky is just so stunning. And this one is white. And I'm like, ugh, okay, that's kind of annoying. But um, we're gonna do all of them in some version of a brown, right? So, like I said, I love this Funto water brush. There's just something about it's elegant to squeeze, and the water doesn't come out too fast. It's like the perfect amount of water, because I had another one recently, another water brush from another set, and it just, when you squeezed it, bleh, you got tons of water out. And I don't like that. I like when you have a little more control, and this one does a beautiful job. So come on, Fun 2, let's get some paint. Let's get some paint going here. I want to be sure that you can see what I'm doing. So I'm going to put the paint up here. Can you see that? I notice on all your pics, the sky color is so vivid. And notice there are no geo trails in the sky. Why is that? And here in South Florida, or I'm in Central Florida, um, during the government shutdown, our sky looked like that. Yeah. And now that the government's back on, we've got the chemtrails all over our skies again. Yep. It's a time before chemtrails. Exactly. Hey, Lukey, welcome in. Now, this was in France, up in the mountains. So that could also contribute to it. But yeah, this was many years ago. And yeah, I mean, our skies right now are disgusting. They look terrible. I love when there's a vacation. And so, like for Thanksgiving, our skies will be crystal clear again. It'll be so beautiful. Mm. All right, so this is the little chart that I made up for the colors, so that I can see. Now, when you're looking at colors and looking at composition and stuff, one of the things you want to consider is is the color a warm color, or is it a cool color? So this red is a, oh, you have friends from Russia, Germany, Finland, and they're confused when I tried to explain what chemtrails were. Yeah, they don't have them. Exactly. It's us. It's us. It's our companies here doing that. It's horrible. Yeah, so they have clear blue skies. See, this was in France. So what I wanted you to notice about the colors, and the fact that I think even though these are small, um, if you work with watercolors, you know that that's plenty of watercolor to do lots of different paintings, right? And what what I like about the composition of the set is you have a cool red and a warm red, a warm yellow and a cool yellow. All right. And the same in the blues. You have a cool blue and a warmer blue. Okay, that's colors that lean cool or warm. And that can be very helpful when you're working on a scene. So, for instance, photorealistic. Oh, yeah. Lukey said he's blown away by how photorealistic some watercolor artists can make their portraits. And you know what? I'm glad you mentioned that because, well, what I'm talking about tonight is sketching. So, even realistic watercolorists will sketch in order to get their ideas down, right? But I am not a realist. I am not interested in realism. I came from the world of computer science and I had to be so precise in that that when I paint, my objective is to be very loose and sketchy and have fun and not be anywhere near realism. Although sometimes I attempt realism and it just ain't there. Right? Oh, their portraits are amazing. I know. I'm not a portrait artist. So, um, Lukey, if you were not here earlier, I want to show you real quick. When I was doing the introduction, I talked about this book, Urban Watercolor Sketching by Felix Steinberger. And the cool thing that I love about his work is, do you see the funny faces right here that he has? So he does not, one of the things that he does is, oh, he can do architecture, but he also can loosen up and have a lot of fun. And what I like about the examples that he shows in here are, don't be too precious when you're doing your sketches. It's okay to just have a blast, and people don't have to look like people. So you see that? Not much of a portrait right there, right? Of the guy walking on the beach, but you know what it is. You know what the scene is, and you know there's a person there. So that's really the way I like to sketch and paint is right. So 1799 House said, I love Van Gogh, which is very impressionist, right? And wackadoodle. Look at those faces. So this is Felix's book, the faces that he does. So, don't feel like you have to be perfect and that you have to do realism. I am so far from realism. I love that books like that give, just looking through it are like, okay, permission given to be just crazy, right? But as I was saying about the color intensity and whether it's cool or whether it's warm, that can come into play, especially when you're doing outdoor type stuff. The sky is obviously a cool blue, but the building here is like warm because the building has browns and peaches in it, right? And so that will inform how you choose your colors here. If I'm going to use mix a brown, I'm going to use the warm red, not the cold red. I could use the cold red, but I'm going to get better matching with my outdoors scenery here by using the warm red instead of the cool red. So that's just a little aside. Having to do with color theory, because I find a lot of times I'll sit there and I'll just go, ha 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 ha, and I'll mix up my colors, and other people are like, how do you do that? But that's from, many years of color theory, even taking uh, professional boot camps on color theory and color mixing. So it's a thing. It's a thing, y'all. Now, even though I have a water brush, I do like to have a separate water container. So right above me here, I have a separate water container, and I will use that to make sure that these filaments are wet before I get started. And let's just, this building over here has some really interesting grays in it. So how are we going to get gray? What I'm going to do is I'm going to grab this, see this Prussian blue right here. And I like to add a little bit of purple to it. And if you really want to make it gray, you can add a little bit of this yellow ochre to it. So you can see I was doing it over here. Let me show you. You see this little bit of a gray, like purpley gray over here? That's what I was doing. Now let me go ahead and clip this together so it doesn't want to chase all around my table. Okay, hold on. There we go. so that they stay together. I think that'll make it a little bit easier. So the cool thing about this is, okay, right now, if I'm looking at this, I have my reds going like this and my yellow here. So all I have to do is turn it like that, and then it matches. It matches what I have here, right? So now I know where all the colors are positioned. And so I'm going to work from it that way. Um, let's see. I'm going to start with like I said, that sort of gray look, gray cobblestone. But I am going to want a lot of water. So maybe what I'll do is I'm going to start by getting this wet, and I am gently squeezing the barrel of the water brush. All right, gently squeezing. And see, the nice thing about these fine liners, the professional fine liners, is that they are not going to go anywhere in the I get them wet. They're not going to run, right? Yay. Most pens will run, but if you're using a fine liner like that, it's not going to run. And then up here where the bell is, I'm going to pick up some of the most concentrated color that I had there. And I'm going to put it right here inside the bell because that's going to be dark, right? Underneath the bell. And there. So under the bell is dark, but above the bell, it's still metallic, but it's not that dark. And then because I have dark here, I'm going to go into the doorways too with a little bit darker. So there's a little bit of black right here. So I'm just going to go into the doorways with some of the black and the purple that's there. Cool. And I'm not even trying to get it completely covered. You see that? Because what is it? It's a sketch, y'all. So just relax. It's a sketch. You do not have to be um, perfect with a sketch. It's a-okay. Now I just added some black and purple together. Love that. All right. And we'll put a little bit more purple in here too. Why not? So I've got a combination of purple and black. And see to get this clean, you just put it on your cloth right there. So let's take some of that purple out of there, add just a little bit more black in there. There we go. Cool. So now I have a combo of black and purple. Nice. Looking good. And then this is damp up in here. Love that because then it makes the colors sort of spread a little bit. And let me bring that up so you can see. See how the purple and the black, they're playing nicely together? It's not just a black doorway. It has a little more interest. I love using purple for that. Let's use some of the Prussian blue. And what I didn't do initially is I didn't spray this, but remember from earlier, the Funto gives you a little spray bottle with your set. So what I usually will do to get the colors activated is I will spray them with a little bit of water, which is why they give you the little spray bottle. And that just helps release the paint a little bit more easily. So let's use some of that dark blue and some more of that purple here. Ooh, pretty. But not quite gray. So I'm going to add a little bit more of, well, I added the black. What am I doing? What am I doing? Instead of the black, I need to grab some of this yellow ochre and put it in there. There you go. Now I've got gray. Jeez. I'm like, what am I doing? I'm looking for gray. So usually it's very easy to get the gray from the yellow ochre, a little bit of purple, and a little bit of that blue. So I just have a little bit of that color now, the gray on the end of my brush, and I'm just going to sort of tap it in here because I want to create what? Some bricks, right? What looks like some bricks in there. And then now see, this is what happens to me. I get mired in the details because I'm a detail girl from years in the computer business, and I just need it reminds me to like go faster and loosen up, right? So I'm gonna dip this in the water just so that it'll go a little bit more like that. There we go. And I'm actually going to go right through where I had those on there because I want them to be a little more Come on, loose, right? Loosen it up, loosen it up. But I'm just giving the impression of the wall, the stones in the wall. And look at the gray that I got. You see the gray right there? Oop, that would help if I put it in there. But you can see it's like super gray, but there's no gray on here. It's really is better if you use some of the colors to mix and create your black or your grays instead of grabbing black or grabbing uh, well, sometimes you can sets have a gray, but most of them don't, right? But you can create it pretty quickly like that. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to get this wet again. So I do like, besides just having the water brush, I like having an extra container of water. Hence why it's nice that the Funto gives you a little water cup, that collapsible water cup with their set, because I find that I do end up dipping to clear off that tip. Now I'm going to use the side and I'm going to sort of just drag it through here because I want to create, I want to just smooth that out a little bit. It's not too, it's not too wet. So it's kind of giving me a little drag, right? Nice. Thank you, watercolor, etc. Now I want to get, remember I drew the, right in here, I drew the shadow, right? So what am I going to do to get the shadow? Let's just grab a little bit of purple. Woo! Just a little bit of purple here. I want plenty of water with it, lots of water, so it's just a hint of purple. And then I'm going to bring the hint of purple through here. And that's going to sort of give me that little bit of shadow. And if it's too much, if you go, whoa, it's too purple, just take your paper towel and dab it. And that'll give you like the perfect hint, right, of that dark color. Now I'm looking at it and going, I kind of like to put some of the Prussian blue in there, but I want it to be lots of water, right? So I just added a little bit of Prussian blue and lots and lots and lots and lots of water. And so let's try that combo for here. Oh, too much blue, but let's just lift. And oftentimes, just by lifting, you save it, right? It's like, oh, okay, that kind of looks like a shadow now. I can live with that. I can live with it. And then around the window, what's going on with the window? The window's a little bit dark, but the interesting thing is the window kind of has some blue in it. So I'm just going to grab very light blue here. And then what am I going to do? Lift. Bloop. There we go. And pick up a little bit of the gray. I'll bring a little bit of the gray. So we got some blue, we've got some gray in the window. There we go. Right now, I'm working a little bit lighter right now. You can always come in later and add more darkness. So I really find it's better as you're starting to start out with more lightness and then add darkness later. Okay. And so that's why I'm just picking it up with the paper towel. So I'm doing the bell. It's too dark, but I'm just going to pick it up lightly with the paper towel, and then that lightens it. Yay. And then I'm just going to add just a little bit of extra darkness at the top. So now we've got the bell. Awesome. Okay, and those flagstones are kind of fun. Let's see what they look like. They're more or less white. So I think I'm just going to take the tiniest hint of gray and go around the flagstones right there. Just a hint of gray. Doesn't have to be too much. The same since I've got it on my brush, hint of gray over here. And that's a little bit dark, so you know what I'm gonna do. While it's still wet, bam, hello. Now it's light. Now that's what I wanted right there. Paper. Okay, watercolor, etc. The paper that I'm using. I love these notebooks because they're the ring bound, right? And this paper, I'm going to tell you before I reveal, since you weren't here earlier, um, the This is 140-pound professional grade uh, watercolor paper. So it can take a beating. You can put water on it, you can pull it off, you can put it on, you can pull it off. You can scrub back into the paper, and it's a professional grade, so it will take it. It's awesome. And it is this, the Winsor& Newton Professional Watercolor, 100% cotton, 5x7. And I love this for sketching. I use this for all kinds of stuff. I also use it for like my color swatching, as you can see there, right? It's just like, to me, this 5x7 is just the perfect size. And I like that it's on a ring binder, because there you go, right? The ring binder just sits right there like that. It's awesome. Okay, so I'm getting annoyed by how gray this is right here right now. And I was mentioning about the scrubbing or the working back in. So I'm getting my paper towel damp, and I'm just gonna, I'm like, that is just too dark, y'all. So I am pulling up some of the color. And that's the beautiful thing about this Winsor & Newton Professional is that it'll take a beating. You can put it in, take it off, put it in, take it off. It's awesome. So there we go. So I'm lightening it just a little bit. And there was some blue on there, so I'm getting blue all over the place, but it is a sketch, right, y'all? It's a sketch, so I'm not going to worry about it too much. Okay, let's take a little bit of this blue and purple, and I'm going to drop that shadow in there, right? Darken it just a little bit around that clock. Okay, a little bit more of the around the, I've got still that little bit of purple and blue on there. I'm going to go around the bottom of this window, because I sort of want it to draw attention to it. Okay, so we've got the one building working. This other one back here is a little more gray, but I'm like, I think I'm going to make it a little bit more. Um, I want it to be slightly richer. So I'm grabbing a little bit of that yellow ochre, and I may grab a little bit of the Indian yellow. So where I am right now is Indian yellow. Yeah. So that gives me a little bit. That's turning green. Okay, green is not good. The opposite of green is red. Let's grab a little bit of this red to make it more gray. Okay, that's a little bit richer. I used a lot of yellow in it, so it's turning, you see how it's turning kind of brownish, but that's okay. If I want to whack down the brown, let's grab some of this from here, the blue, that Prussian blue. Okay, there we go. Yee. This happens to me where I just go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth with making color decisions. It's crazy. Okay, this looks like it's going to be a little bit dark. Another thing that I do is I often carry with me, just, you see this piece, this random piece of watercolor paper, right? So I use that to go, what does that color look like before I actually put it on my surface? And then I can make decisions. I'm like, that's not bad, but I think I want just a tiny bit more Indian yellow. Ay, it's making it look more green. See how green it is? I'm like, no, 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 I don't want it green. So how do I avoid the green? The opposite of green on the color wheel is purple. So I'm going to grab a little bit of purple and put that in there, and it instantly goes more gray, more black. Did you see that? How quick I was able to do that? But that's knowing color theory. Let me show you real quick, like, while I have, here's my 8 color wheel. So if I look at it turned green, right? The paint, when I added that little bit of yellow, it went a little too green for me. And well, what's opposite here is red. Red and red violet is opposite these, right? So if I'm stay in the red and the violet area, that'll neutralize the color. That'll cause the color, if I'm using opposites on the color wheel, it'll cause them to tend more toward black, okay? Or toward a dark brown. And so that's exactly what happened. So I've got a rich, dark brown right now. Let's make sure I have plenty of water on my brush and just start coming in here, seeing what we have. Just going lightly. Ooh, I like that color. It's not as cool. This building that's in the forefront, the darkness is cooler. So we had more blue in that. Okay, neato. I likey. I need to get a little bit more across here of a shadow. So let's dip into that blue and bring some of the shadow across there where I had done the sketchy of the shadow. Okay, all right. So we're beginning to get some dimension going there. A little bit darker, I think, down here in the where it sort of where it meets the other building, right? Little bit darker right here. There we go. Nice. So we give that a little bit of dimension there. And then around the top, I love these little terracotta roofs. So let's grab, see, I already had some color on my my little palette from before. So I'm just going to leave that. I leave it on there and let it dry. You can clean it if you want to. While it's all wet, I would not put them, you know, face them one on top of the other. I leave this to dry and then I cover that up with it. But this is a kind of a terracotta color that I had the last time. So I'm just going to pop some terracotta on the roof here for the tiles, sort of give them a little bit of extra dimension, right? And then I want some terracotta over here too, but they're a little bit even more back behind. So I'm going to add a little bit more water to it. So it's a little more light in color, just a little. And you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to dab it, right? I'm going to dab it so it's not quite so dark. All right, let's find a part of this we can dab with that doesn't have other paint on it. Okay, so now this is a little bit lighter. This lower one's going to need to be a little bit darker. This one's more in the sun, the one that's on the top. So there we go. And then where is some brown? Does this have brown in it? It has a reddish brown here and a darker like pine cone brown right here. So what do I want to do? What do I want to do? I think I want to take a little of the darker brown and put it in with the light terracotta. And I'm doing that so I can create a little shadow underneath here. Bam! Let's just drop the shadow in. Nice on the roof line to give a little extra dimension there. And the same here. I'm just going to drop that underneath here on the roof line. There we go. Awesome. We got it. We got it. We got it. What are we going to do with these windows? What do we do with the windows? Okay, so the windows are dark. Ah, the windows are kind of dark. So let's see what we do with the windows. I like using that blue, that Prussian blue, to kind of give the darkness. So, but the darkness has like a blue sort of hint tint to it. And I also dropped a shadow underneath it. There we go. We have windows. There you are. Windows. All right. And actually, I want to darken this window just a little bit more now with that dark blue. There we go. A little bit better. All right, it's coming along, coming along. So this building, what I would normally do is wait until this dries and then come back in, maybe come back in like this, and just put some of these little uh, bricks in there, right? So just let it be a little bit darker and bring a few bricks in so that you get the idea that there are bricks. Tee-hee. Okay, here we go. And that they're like random. These buildings, those bricks are so random. It's crazy. Okay, there you go. Now you got a feel for a building with little bricks, but you had to wait. I had to wait until this dried a little bit, the background, before I could pop those little bricks in there. All right, let's see what else we have on this building over here. We've got a nice big shadow over here that kind of goes from the roof there. And it has a couple of windows. The neat thing about these windows is that they are kind of a light green, which is awesome. They're little, ooh, you know what I forgot to do with those? I forgot to put, well, let's just do this first to have a little bit of color there. And then I forgot to put the little slats in there. So let's use the 03. And these are little, these are windows that have little, so you see the little shutters on them? They're cute. So let's put some little shutters on here. Nice. So we can see that they are shutters as opposed to windows. I remember thinking, oh, I got to do that, that I needed to do the shutter thing, but I had to wait to a certain point. I guess now's the time. There we go. Even though the paper is slightly damp, it still works perfectly. There we go. Now we know we have shutters on there. Phew! And let's add some more of the green because I love those like worn out green shutters. There we are. And then here, and I'm going to have to make the lower one here much darker because of the shadow, right? There we go. Nice. So now we have shutters. And this building doesn't have all the bricks. Can you see it? It doesn't have all the bricks on it. I don't know why I keep going over here. Let's see, here for the plot. Welcome in, welcome in. So you can see this building doesn't have all the bricks. It's more smooth on the outside. And of course, you can make bricks if you want to. Let's knock yourself out, right? So I'm going to grab a bunch more of the yellow ochre and some of this, what do they call this color? They call it sangria red. So I'm sort of mixing a dark color, but mixing it with a lot warmer. So the sangria red, yeah, there we go. There we go. But I want lots of water. That's where having a little dish like this can come in handy because you can take the color that you've mixed and then you can adjust the amount of water that's in it. It can be a little bit easier. Like I said, this one happens to be porcelain, but if you want to travel with one and not have it be so porcelain, porcelain where it could break, they're also available uh, as plastic as well. Okay, so now we've got like a nice warm, wow. Let's put a little bit more of this yellow in there. And now I can control the water, can't I? I can take the little spray bottle that they gave us and I can add a little more water in there to get it more runny. And then it's more of a wash. So now when we put this on here, it's not quite so concentrated. It is concentrated, but it's just not as. Now I'm squeezing the barrel of the brush to get more water out because it was coming out sort of dry. So let's do this. And then on the part over here where there's light, I'm going to lift on the part where there's light, right? Well, it used to be I would watch people paint watercolor and I'm like, they are crazy. They're putting down color and then they're taking it back off and then they're putting down color and then they're taking it back off. What the heck are they doing? But it's a thing. As you can see there, you can already see it's darker here and lighter here because I wanted to represent the light, so I used the paper towel to pick it up there. Let's do more of a shadow over here. So I'm going to grab some of that gray that I made with the blue And it's kind of the same shadow color that I was using over here. And we're dropping that in there. Fun. All right. Awesome. Now we've got a shadow, except I have to put the shadow over top of the window too. I forgot. I left the window out. There we go. Now we've got a cool little shadow going on there, right? You can see. But I'm looking at it and I'm like, I feel like I need a lot more shadow over here. You see how these two, where they butt up to each other, they look a little more flat? Okay. That's because there's not enough contrast between this building and this building right here. And so that just means I've got to put more, since this is light here, I've got to put more darkness right next to it right there. Just soaked in a bubble bath. There you go. Nice. Self-care. It's important, right? Okay, so I'm gonna just make this area right here. Even though in the picture, like you've got lots of darkness on here, if you look right there where those two meet, this is much deeper. Let me make sure that's in the frame. Yeah, this is much deeper than this. This is fully in the light, and this is pushed back. So we've got to add some more darkness there, right here where the two meet. Okay, in order to get more of the dimension built in there. So this one is more of a gray, where I like the way this one's turning out, except look at me. Look at me. I didn't put anything up here. What the heck is the matter with me? Not only that, I've got a shadow right here that I missed. Hello, shadow. I was just looking at the picture. I'm like, what the heck, man? I left that shadow out of there. And so now we've got the proper shadow there. And it just needs to go over just a little bit more. Just a little bit more. There we go. Shadow. You got it. And look at that. Ah, what the heck, man? I've got to put this. I have to fill something in there. Dang. So I'm going to squeeze this to get a little bit more water out. Yep, there it comes. Because I just needed that to be a little bit wetter right in there. All right, cool. A little bit darker. Just drop some in there. There we go. Do 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 do. I was like, why does that look wrong? Okay, so we want like a dark gray over here, right? So that we can put it right there and get more contrast between the building that's fully in the light and the one that's in the dark, the background, the dark. So this is a warm gray. Do you see how this is a cool gray and this is a warm gray? All right. It's a thing. Yep, it's a thing with artists. So let's get this warm gray. So let me grab a little bit more of that blue in there. I took a little bit of the kind of warm color that was right here and added it to some of the blue. So now I've got, again, a warm gray, and then I'm going to start dropping the warm gray in here. And just by the nature of the fact that it's a second coat makes it darker. Okay. And then you see I'm just feathering it over. So I'm dropping it in and I'm feathering it over, even over the window. Yes, window, you're going to get some of the shadow treatment as well. There we go. You see all the various colors that I'm mixing with just this little teeny tiny set of 15 colors? No, it's color mixing is an important feature, of something to learn when you're learning watercolor, or actually any paint, but especially watercolor. Okay, good. So now we've got a lot more contrast between that line where that building comes down and where this building is back behind it, right? So now you see more dimension. And I'm actually going to, right where the two meet, I'm going to go much darker. Not too bad, not too crazy. but definitely I'm taking the warm, let me show you here. This was the warm brown that I used over here. So I'm taking a little bit of that warmth and adding it to the black. And I can even take a little bit of the Prussian blue and add that in there, and that deepens it. There we go. A little bit more of the warmth from here. Nice. Now I've got a beautiful gray because I'm like, wait a minute. That's my art teacher from drawing classes back in the day, Miss Jackie. Oh my gosh. Miss Jackie would always say, more contrast, more contrast. So if you don't remember anything else from this workshop, more contrast, like Miss Jackie would say, right? LOL. It's like, okay, 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 okay. I know I have to go back and add more contrast. This is a new brush, so there's a hair came out of it. So I got a little more contrast on my brush right here. We're just bringing that little bit more contrast right there at the edge, just right at the edge. So you can really see the difference between the two. And then I'm going to feather it out just a tiny bit so it's not too harsh a line. There, feather it, feather it, feather it. There we go. All right, Miss Jackie. Now we have more contrast. Welcome in y'all over on Whatnot. I'm doing a workshop on urban sketching. Oh, thank you, watercolor, etc. This is so good. Thank you. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. Thank you for being here and commenting and spending your Sunday evening with me. I appreciate you. But now you can see a massive contrast, right, between this building and this one. Woohoo! I'm finally like somewhat happy. That was what, 3, 4 coats, right? Just keep going in, keep going in. Oh, and it's a lot darker between this building and this building as well. So while I have some of this, let's drop some of that in there, right? It's a little more dramatic. That is the shadow that we're getting there, right? And I'm pulling it out. Want to make sure you can still see that. Yep, on the screen. So we've got, I'm just pulling it out. You got the dark, 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 dark of the shadow. Loving the shadow. And like I said, this Winsor& Newton paper, fabulous, because I can beat it up with layer after layer after layer. And it bends to my will. There we go. So that was a little bit more of the shadowing. There. I just darkened that shadow a little bit. Oh, thank you, Find It. What the heck? I appreciate it. Thank you so much. So the interesting thing in this picture is that, so I'm going to leave it the way it is in the picture. Normally I would go and I would try to darken it a little bit. But if you look right here, you see how bright that building is in the background right there? And it goes right into that other building and it's super bright right here. So I'm essentially showing that right here where this is bright. So I'm just going to go with the picture. All right. I'm not going to go in and try to darken it right that in that area, which if I wasn't looking at the picture, I would be like, oh, I need to darken it right there. But this picture is saying, no, you don't, which tells me that this building is a little bit further back and the sun is fully shining on that building. Okay. So that is fun. I think we're ready for some greenery. Okay, so we have some greenery that's going to go on the side over here. Some trees, just a little bit, just a little. Oh, nice, nice. Find it. Uh, Saying you're loving it and it's giving you the confidence to just pull it out. Well, that's what I was saying earlier. You may not have been here. I was saying the beautiful thing about urban sketching and Find It. Did you see when I was showing this book earlier? The Urban Watercolor Sketching book. This is by Felix Steinberger. I'm not sure if you saw me show this book, but one of the things that I love about his book is the fact that he is just all over the place. His lines are so wonky. His people are just suggestions. Um, and what I do is I simulcast to, yeah, thanks, Salmon's Girl. I simulcast over to YouTube. So let me just stick this out here if you're not familiar with my YouTube channel. So you can take a picture of that. Let me make sure it's in frame. Yep. So here's my YouTube channel, Tristina Dietzelm's Artist, or you can just type in Tristina and Artists and I'll show up. And so these lives I save on my YouTube, and then I'll go back in tonight while I'm eating dinner and I will key in the reference material and the products that I'm using if you are interested. So if you want to buy the book, you can just pop in there and click and you'll be able to, by tomorrow morning, I'll have it live. I'll have the information in there and you can go and click and buy the book if you're interested in it, or, just take a look online at the information that's in there. But one of the things I was showing earlier is, see the funky people, right? It's like, you don't have to be perfect. This is not about perfection. This is just about relaxation, impressions, having fun, right? There's a person right there. It says New York Fashion Week, a picture that he did. Okay, it's just about relaxing and just getting your impressions down. That's one of the beautiful things about urban sketching. Here's a person on the beach. You know it's a person, but you see how it's a suggestion of a person? So I love that. I love the way that he just is so loose and so sketchy, and that's what I'm trying to encourage you to do. And in introducing tonight, now this is a little bit tighter than what he would do in terms of the drawing, because I'm from a computer systems background and I'm trying to get away from being too tight, but it kind of comes out like this is loose for me. Okay. You see the looseness around the windows and the looseness across the top of the tiles on top of the building. Yeah, that's getting loose for me. But I want to learn to get even looser and looser. So the way to do it is to just do it more, right? Okay, so let's put a little bit of greenery over here on the side, and then we're going to put in that stunning blue sky. Oh, the French blue sky from up in the French mountains. Beautiful. But first, I'm going to put a little greenery next to here. So let's see what colors we have of green. We have the sap green, the May green, the light one. I think I want to use a combination of the sap green, which is a little too dark, and then the May green, which is a little bit lighter. There, nice. And it's a sketch. It's a sketch, so I'm just going to sort of drop some little dots in here to suggest that there's a tree. And then I'm going to bring a little bit of that yellow ochre in because I want to make it a little bit more olivey for underneath here. And maybe a little bit on top. There we go. So that gives you the impression of foliage back behind there, right? Maybe a little mountain type thing going on. And oh, that sky is so pretty. So okay, I want to show you something about skies. They're darker up here and they're lighter as they come down generally. So like right back behind here, you're going to see in the photograph, the sky is lighter here than it is up here. It's darker up here. So what I like to do is I like to put my darker color across the top and then bring it down. But I'm gonna wet the bottom area. Oh yeah, I still have some green on there. Hold on. Let's get that green off of there. So I'm going to get this bottom area wet, not the buildings, just the area where the sky is going to be. And I'm getting it wet because I want this area to be more diffused when the blue hits that, right? I don't want it to be quite so concentrated. So I'm squeezing the water brush to get the water to come out. And then I'm getting this blue, or I'm getting sort of this area down here wet. Okay, that way it'll flow a little bit better. Nice. And then I left the very top dry. So that's where it's going to be the most concentrated. So let's try this one right here. So I'm looking at my lists. This one, right? Which one do I want to use? This one or this one? This one or this one? I think I'm going to use this one right here. That's the phthalo blue. It's quite dark, so I'm dipping it in water, and then I'm going to bring it across here. Yikes! You see how blue that is? But that's okay. We're going to keep adding water. Keep adding water. See how I'm just sort of bringing it down? Bring it down, bring it down. There we go. So it's the darkest up at the top. And I'm squeezing my water brush and just sort of bringing it down there. There we go. And now more water on the water brush. And then I'm working from the bottom up like this. Sort of bring it in there. There we go. Eee. Got it. So it's definitely lighter down here at the bottom. And we've got to bring some over here as well. All right, good. So I am not worried at all that you see how there's some white right there where no paint went. That's okay. This is an urban sketch, y'all. I am not using my fanciest brushes. If I were using my fancy schmancy brushes, like this one that I absolutely adore right here. This is a silver brush, um, quill brush, and you see how fluffy that sucker is? So that when I do soft areas like this with this quill brush full of water, then I get that like super soft watercolor. Not, but this I'm urban sketching. I'm using a water brush. But I think it still turned out pretty dang well, even for a water brush. But the trick is start up here where the sky is going to be darkest anyway. And I can always come back in here and lift some of this blue out. If I'm like, oh my gosh, there's too much blue down here. I have my paper towel and I'm making sure that the head of my water brush is somewhat wet. And then I'm lifting. You can do this with good paper. You can lift more of the color out, right? Not so much with the cheaper paper. That's why I love using this Winsor and Newton paper for this kind of thing. So see how I'm lifting some of it up. There we go. I think it looks great. I love that. Where do I get those pens? Okay, so this is it's called a water brush. And this one came in my set. So I purchased a set from Funto, Funto. There'll be a link to it in the description of the video tomorrow on YouTube. But it's Funto, Funto. And I got the set with the 15 watercolors. So it came with this little setup here and the clip. And it doesn't come with this notebook. It comes with this book and this water brush. So this is the book that comes with it, and that's actually these the swatch card I made from the first page of the book here. And so this comes with the this. So I think you were talking about the water brush, weren't you? Or were you talking about the pens I was using earlier? Same thing. I'll have a link to these pens in the description of the video on YouTube tomorrow. And these are Winsor and Newton um, fine liners. I love the colors they have in them. The browns, the brown and the blue. Is your YouTube the same as your whatnot? Oh, the brush. Yeah, this is called a water brush. And so this came in the Funto set, but you can get, you can get water brushes, all different kinds of water brushes. Here, this is where you can find my YouTube right here. So Tristina Dietzelm's artist. Actually, if you want to follow me on Instagram, which is just Dietz Art, then you can see I post when I'm going to have my workshops, my art workshops on Whatnot, and I also post on my website an article, an event, so you can see what we're going to be doing and what the supplies are, as well as I write an article after the workshop where I detail everything and have all the links to all the products, as well as all the links to the things that I'm using will be in the description of the video on YouTube tomorrow on my YouTube channel under the live tab as well. So I hope you had a chance to get that. Yeah, the brush. Okay, good, good. So I'm glad that we got that. Now, there are a lot of different kinds of water brushes out there. I'm looking for some of my other ones here so I can show you another one. But this one that came in the Funto set is really nice. I like the way that it releases the water. It doesn't release too much water because I find sometimes water brushes, it's hard to control the water flow, but I really like this one. Why is it I'm looking at, 5 buckets of brushes here and I'm not seeing my other water brushes? Come on now. Ay, ay, ay. There's one. Hold on. Here's another water brush that I've purchased. So most of the time you'll see water brushes that look like this. And this is a great water brush also. Um, Let me open it up so you can see. So it has that kind of tip there. Um, just for some, I haven't used ones that look like this before. It came in the Fun 2 set, this set that I was talking about. And oh my gosh, I'm really loving it. I like the way that it puts out the water. So, you just have to try different brands and see which one works for you, right? You can see this is an old one. I've had this one for a long time. I put ink in it. I put watercolor ink in it. Oh my goodness, something happened here. There's a little dot of blue. No, 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 no. We can't have that, says the computer tech of in me, right? No, but the artist is like, leave it, don't touch it. Oh, okay. So I'm looking at the time and I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to have time to do another sketch because we put a lot into this one. And of course, once this dries, I can always come back in with my markers again and just put more details in there. If I wanted to do more details on the bricks here for this building, for instance, you can see there's so much here. I could certainly do that with the markers instead later. But I'm happy with that sketch. I'm like, okay, there's the picture, there's the sketch. I like where it went. I kept adding more layers to get more contrast, right? That's one of the things. That's one of the things my teacher used to always say. More contrast. Okay. But I hope this encouraged you to play, play. This is sketching. It's just sketching. Have fun. Don't worry. Yes, pull out your other watercolors. Let me show you my oh, thank you, watercolor, etc. This is my what is it? My Christy Rice watercolor set. And so when I originally got it, it had 12 colors in it. But let me show it to you now. This is a they call it a travel set, meaning I can put my finger in there like that and hold it. And ba-bam. So it came with 12 colors, 6 on each side. I squeezed another one in, so I have 7 on each side now. Plus, I put 7 in the middle. So what is it, 21 colors now? Plus 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27. I added more colors over here. Isn't that crazy? And then I just saved this area for color mixing, except that I was like, no, 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 I need some white. So I squeezed some white in there. And I was like, oh, no, 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 I need an orange. So I squeezed some orange in there. It's crazy. Crazy. That's why I need little things like this when I'm traveling. I need another little thing to mix in because I just have so many color desires that it helps me to have a separate little plate for mixing off to the side. But yes, you can take your set of 12 travel watercolor set and you can customize it for yourself just by buying these little things right here. Let me get one of these out of here. See the little, oh, this one has it has a little magnet on the bottom. I put a little magnet on there. Ooh, it goes that way. And so that is a half pan, and I buy them empty with the little magnets. So if I need the magnets, because in the middle here, it's metal, right? And so if I want this to go down in there and stay, I pop it in and it has a magnet on the bottom and then it stays. But that's how you can customize your little sets is you just buy the extra half pans together with the little magnets and then they'll just sit right in the middle. If I didn't have all of these here, I could have a small version of a water brush right there. And some people do that. I have a couple of little bitty water brushes that go in a set like that. But you can see I'm totally maxed this one out, right? And this one is the Christy Rice. I love it. Love it. Love her colors. Love the beauty of her palettes. They're fabulous. I buy her palettes empty. I have like 5 of her empty palettes, the Christy Rice empty palette. So I'll link some of them, whatever I can, in the description. YouTube limits us on how many characters we can have in the description, which makes me a little nuts, but that's okay. I'll get over it. I'll put as much information as I can in the description of the video, okay, for y'all.